All right, what's going on, PE108 students? Back at it again, week 5. We have 2 subjects this week. These are actually a little bit easier, and this video is going to be a little bit shorter. Next week, we really dive into the meat of the beginning weight training course, where we learn about programming, how to set up your workouts, and how to set up your workouts long term. So today, we're going to cruise over the last couple subjects. And then we'll finish up the quarter with nutrition. And then towards the end of the quarter, you'll be going over your baseline testing again and taking your final. So the quarter's kind of cruising by. But the 2 topics we're going to go over today are the FITT principle and muscle actions. So to start, the FITT principle is another acronym that will definitely be on your final. FITT just stands for frequency, intensity, time, and type. And this is kind of just the beginnings of how to program your workouts, or what a whole week worth of workouts will look like. That way your body has time to recover and adapt to the changes that you're putting your body through. So first one, frequency. So the frequency is obviously just how often you're doing certain training. So we can go over obviously like interval training, resistance training of any type. So whether that be strength-based or muscle hypertrophy, muscle endurance work, or cardiorespiratory training. The whole idea behind frequency is to get an idea how often you're doing a certain exercise, and you're able to look back and see if you're giving you're allowing your body enough time to recover from whatever activity that may be. Intensity also is a way for you to look back and see if you're giving your body enough of a break. You don't want to be going back to back to back to back with very, very high intensity days. Okay, that ups our risk of injury, and it also does not give our body enough time to recuperate and be able to heal well enough to maintain that intensity for a very long time. So when we talk about programming later in the quarter, we'll talk about periodization, as well as going over different ways to program periodization and different formats for that. But the whole reason why we do periodization and why we plan on our whole weeks is to make sure that we're giving our body enough time to recover and adapt. We'll be going over muscle actions, but basically when you tax your systems, especially your musculoskeletal system, it starts to break down and it needs time to repair. And there's several ways that the muscles do that. But again, varying your intensities is a very important way to make sure that we're decreasing our risk of injury and giving our body enough time to recover. After that, we go over the first T, which is time. Okay, so this can be the entire time of your workout, ranging from warm up to cool down. It could also be the time of your intervals. Going over it, again, we want to give our body enough time to recover, and so working out for 3 hours a day obviously is not sustainable long term. So this is just a good way to kind of keep yourself in check. And then type, right? Like I said earlier in the quarter, it's very important to go through different types of training. That way your body responds to each stimulus well, and it gives you enough time to recover. But on top of that, we know that cross training is the best way to avoid injury. So if you're doing the same thing, repetitive motions, high intensity stuff like that, your body starts to really wear down. Okay, so not only are we going to want to be resistance training 3 to 4 times a week, but also throwing in some cardiovascular activity in there as well to kind of give our body a different stimulus and work that hard a little bit. So in your homework this week, you'll kind of be able to break down what the whole FITT principle means and apply it to your life. Hopefully it's an easy little segue into our programming lectures coming up. But again, it's just something to think about, especially if you don't usually follow a program and you just kind of go willy-nilly to the gym or go running. The FITT principle is a really, really good way in order for you to track what you've been doing and what you have going on in the future. All right, now we're gonna get into how muscles actually contract in the 3 different types of muscle actions. So when we talk about a muscle, we want to talk about the actual muscle fiber and how it's broken down in the first place. So we have the muscle fiber. So within that, we have a bunch of myofibrils, and within that, we have these things called sacromeres, which have a lot of different things that are kind of within them. If you're a kinesiology student, you've had this broken down for you before in more detail, but pretty much within that, we have what goes on is called the sliding filament theory. So what's actually going on within the sliding filament theory is that you have actin and myosin kind of stacked on top of each other, and the myosin filaments actually start to pull the actin filaments together, closer and closer like this, until the actual sacromere is shortened, and that's what's causing the muscle to contract. I will actually post a cool video online on the physiology behind the muscle contraction. There's a cool little animation made on YouTube that I'll share with you guys that it's definitely worth a peek. But keeping that in mind, when the actin and myosin filaments are shortening, we're gonna have 3 different muscle actions, okay? The first one is going to be concentric, which just means muscles shortening, okay? There's also isometric, which means that there's a contraction going on within the actin and myosin filaments, but there's no shortening or lengthening, right? So the active potentials for these muscles of fire have been shot through the roof, and they are firing, but there's no change within the muscle fibers, okay, or the sacromeres. The last one is going to be eccentric, so that's the lengthening of the muscle fibers, or the actin and myosin slowly starting to be pulled apart. Okay, so the cool thing about eccentric muscle action is it's what makes your body sore the next day after a training session. So the more eccentric motion that you have, the more sore you're going to be. It just means that the muscle has been broken down and it needs to be repaired. That's why protein intake is especially important, okay, and as well as some type of carbohydrates in order to replenish your glycogen storage and for those muscles to obtain that protein, right? So we like to think about these 3 muscle actions while we're resistance training as well. So let's take the deadlift, for example. We want to think about the muscle group first, okay? So let's talk about the hamstrings when we're doing the deadlift. The eccentric portion is going to be the lengthening of the hamstrings, okay? So that's going to be the slow lowering down from the hip all the way down to the floor of the barbell. That's going to put those hamstrings under a lot of tension, and the slow lengthening or slow eccentric portion is going to be kind of pulling those actin and myosin filaments apart, therefore breaking down the muscle. If we want to do an isometric, okay, we'll start maybe from the floor, pause at the knee, and then finish up, okay? That pause at the knee is going to be the isometric portion of the exercise, and the concentric is just going to be the muscle shortening. So picking the concentric portion of the deadlift, just picking it up off the floor and bringing it to your hip. Hopefully that makes sense. I'll be utilizing this within your workouts this week, and hopefully you have some fun with it. Try to apply this especially when you're going to the gym or if you're working out at home, thinking about the muscle and the muscle action at each joint. One thing I forgot to add, we want to think about the agonist and the antagonist muscle group with each action, which goes with the eccentric and concentric. So the agonist is going to be the primary mover for the movement that we're doing. So like for the deadlift, obviously the hamstrings and the glutes, and the antagonist is going to be the opposite muscle group. All right, I hope you guys have a good week. I will be checking in on all your guys' assignments here pretty soon, and the grades should be up as soon as possible. All right, take care. Have a good week. Bye.